Oh, Dan, I think you have to let Regan speak.
All good.
From Brazil.
Is there anybody in the chat from Brazil? Yeah, I don't know.
I think I asked him to allow you to speak.
What's up, everybody? I haven't been muted like that in a while, so
Sorry. It's
okay. It's probably a good thing.
I can ask everybody to unmute that's here, and then we can mute everybody, assuming we don't get Zoom bombed like we sometimes do. So
I think we just let the AI experts take it over.
well, and AI is not running this. AI is not running this show right now. I can tell you that. So, but good morning, everybody. We're going to get started. All right, Eirik.
Were you going to run the... I mean, I can't. It doesn't matter.
Oh, the actual...
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry. Gamma.
Good.
Go ahead. Oh, you need me to share it. Sorry. I thought you were sharing it because it was up on the screen before.
No worries.
Well, let's see. We'll get the presentation up here, guys. Thanks for your patience here this morning. Trying to stream on a lot of different platforms and all that good stuff. So give me 1 second.
Dan likes to take it to the next level.
Why don't you guys introduce yourself while I'm getting the presentation up and explain what we're doing today?
Okay, I'm Shannon with Preferred Success Marketing. I'm the marketing director, and Eirik and I go back and forth sometimes. He's always cluing me in on different new AIs, which is super exciting. I usually walk away a little bit dumbfounded and amazed by all of the different, I would say, things he's aware of. And I always find something useful, so that I can start using. But we wanted to kind of get back to those basics where we're not bombarding people with too much information so that you can set up really good foundations. Then grow with those. So the idea is to present things to you today that will kind of maybe you know about them already, but you've never worked with them, or you don't know about them and you want to work with them. And then we're going to have a workshop on the 24th that we'll put the invite link in the chat for that. And that's going to be in person to set you guys up so that you can get hands-on help from us setting up those different AI things that Eirik is going to talk about today. So
And then you just use perfect.
The guys are getting all the tech stuff going, and Eirik can introduce himself here.
Yeah, so I'm Eirik Rorvig. It's for all intents and purposes here. I am one of the co-founders of Thinking Prompts. We do AI consulting to help people integrate AI into their businesses. For this presentation, we were talking about how do you, as real estate agents, how do you use this technology to your advantage? And so we're, by the way, that's on the screen right now.
I'm trying my best. We're really struggling now. So
I feel like I don't hear Eirik in my.
it's all right. They do.
They can.
Okay.
It's all good.
Maybe.
So, there's really two main functions I think that most real estate agents and lenders, for that matter, would be interested in. One would be obviously the marketing aspects, which is low-hanging fruit. Everybody wants to do and it's tangible, so it's easy. So how do you use videos? How do you make photos? How do you do creative work? That is not something we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on how do you become more organized? How do you build the basics, the foundation for your business itself? And now I'm going to show you a few things, but in reality, a lot of this is trial and error, and a lot of this is going to be on you, the users, to figure some of this out for yourself. So we're going to start off.
Hopefully.
Hopefully we'll get there.
They're really struggling. I mean, you've got it on yours.
I got it on mine. Okay, so that's all good. So we're going to start off with some tools that actually save you time. I'm going to talk about 4 tools. There's actually a 5th one that sort of goes along with the very first one. And so we're going to talk about what's called a TTS, or text-to-speech service, and or a speech-to-text service called WhisperFlow. And if you run a Mac, you have Super Whisper, which is another one. So that's the one I have on my Mac here. And basically what this is it allows you to speak in natural language and let the program convert the wavelengths of your voice into text. Now, how's that any different than the one you have on your phone? Very similar. They all use the same program, which is called Whisper, which is developed by OpenAI. And Whisper does convert all those wavelengths into language. Super Whisper and WhisperFlow do it actually better than anything you have on your phone. And I know because you can get both these programs for your phone too, whether you use a Mac or a Droid. Actually, it's not true. Super Whisper does not work on Droid, but does work on Mac. Backwards. Does not work on iOS, does work on Windows and Droid. Why is it better than the one you have on your phone? Because every time the one on your phone updates, you have to reteach it. So I know we got this in slides here.
Yep. Sorry.
You're good.
Which slide do you want to be on now?
Number 3.
Thank you.
Oh, and we'll answer your questions as Eirik kind of gets through sections of it, and then we'll keep asking your questions in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and kind of address those throughout.
Right. So back to what I was saying before I launched into this, I want you to focus on the things that matter as an agent, which is relationships and deals. It's the communication between you and the client, you and the lender, you and the title company. How do you get things done cleaner, quicker, faster? You move on to the next one here. So this is WhisperFlow. This is what we're talking about. This is a text-to-speech and speech-to-text service, again, using the wavelengths of your voice to convert to language. So I'm going to share my screen here. Can I do that, or do you have to do it for me?
What do you want to share?
So I'm going to just use Whisper. I'm going to use Super Whisper here, just to type in so that people can see.
I think if you say that you want to share, it might just kick him out.
I'll use mine.
Okay.
Good morning.
Oh, is yours on? Yeah.
Good morning. I would like to use WhisperFlow to write in anything that you would want to say to somebody, or via a text message or an email, and then it will transcribe and put into the words for you. All right. I don't really have a place to show where to paste it though. So
this is a little disjointed. Forgive us. This is our first go ahead actually putting the system through.
I'll stop sharing and you start sharing.
That's okay.
There you go.
Okay. The question is, there we go.
There you go. Perfect.
So I can turn this on, and you can see this box pop up here and all the wavelengths. So now it's listening to me, and when I finish, I'll hit stop. It'll take a couple of seconds, and it'll convert. Oh, you actually can't see the box. So it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter. You can ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble. And when I hit stop, I make sure it's pasted, and you can see that it's all in here. Now, the difference is obviously that this is super rambly. I don't have this particular one set up to convert it, but normally what happens is you have a different AI system on the back that listens to what you're saying, converts the wavelengths into language, takes the language, converts it into something better. So that is a tool. It's extremely cheap. It does cost money. WhisperFlow, I believe, is $8 a month. Super Whisper, if you have Mac or iOS, I believe is $12 a month. I don't write anymore, like at all, unless, of course, it's in a noisy environment, and then I have to. But I just dictate all of my emails. I dictate all of my text messages. You can get it to respond. You can train it to respond to emails and text messages as well. So you just dump it in and convert it. This is like a massive, massive time saver, especially if you're not a strong writer or not a strong thinker. Like I am a sort of stream of consciousness person, so I like to just sort of verbal diarrhea into this thing and then let it come out with something better at the end. And this works out super, super well.
And there are free versions. Like
There are free versions. They are limiting. They're not as good. There's a free version of any of these tools, by the way, but the free versions are not that great.
whenever Eirik is telling me about a cool AI that he's aware of, I always go, and what's the free version? Because he like goes all in and gets the paid version.
For
And I'm
sure.
always like, what's the free version like? So I always start there to test out to see, you know, if I'm going to use it a lot, if I like it, how it's going to work, and then I'll like decide to upgrade from there.
Yep. So easy one to get into right away. We call it a gateway drug. This is an easy gateway drug to get into. Taking away, saving tons of your time. Now I know there's some people on this call already that already have WhisperFlow or Super Whisper, and they use it. The hard part is getting into the rhythm of doing it because it's just, you're so programmed to be a specific way that it just doesn't, you got to make an effort to do it. But once you see the efficiency and the amount of time that you save, it's a massive shift in how you think about stuff. So Dan, let's move on to the next one here.
If I can get it back.
It's all good.
We're back on the Zoom now. Okay, here we go. Nope, that's in the way. Isn't that awesome? All right. Please hit stop sharing on yours.
Sorry.
And then are you guys seeing it?
I don't see it.
I see it,
Oh, Shannon sees it. That's all that matters.
which is interesting, but I'm seeing what, I think
I think you're seeing what the people are seeing.
Okay. Can everybody just comment? Like, can we get somebody to hit us back on exactly what they're seeing? Are they seeing where it says WhisperFlow hands-free documentation?
I think so.
Okay.
Next.
We're going to go to the next one.
yes, Justin
Okay.
confirmed yes. Thank you, Justin.
So the second thing we're going to talk about is Claude. Now, I know a lot of you have heard of ChatGPT. ChatGPT has really good marketing. They're first to market. A lot of people use it. ChatGPT is not as good for a business function. Now, as a whole, the program itself is great. The ChatGPT has some pretty sizable security loopholes, and this is why I think you shouldn't use it. This isn't obviously about ChatGPT necessarily, but they have some really problematic security loopholes. There's a couple of months ago, 100,000 chats were leaked through a general HTTPS leak, meaning that 100,000 chats that people had were leaked to the internet. They're not, the level of certification on security that they have is not comparable to the other ones. So like Claude, for instance, has SOC 2, SOC 3 certification. It's HIPAA certified. Claude has, and Anthropic is the parent company to Claude. They sort of diverged off of the original ChatGPT group, the group that made ChatGPT and made Anthropic, and they became the serious person or the business person's large language model. And this is really important because the way that they built the program in and of itself was to maximize logic, writing skills, creativity, process thinking. Like Claude is the best one at this. The paid version of this, the pro version, is $20 a month. Everything, by the way, is $20 a month if you're going to use a large language model. Claude is the best one, and it allows you to not only have like great logic in your conversations, but it also allows you to build up things called projects, and projects are special use cases. So let's say you have one that just writes listing descriptions. You can pre-program that function so that when you go in, all you need to do is upload, the listing information, pictures of the house, the tone that you want it to come out as, and it will fire it out at a PhD level writing stratosphere. That's not a good word for it. Whereas, and it doesn't have all those weird dots and dashes and emojis like ChatGPT has or Google Gemini has. It's for serious people. So, as we can show Claude here a little bit. I think one of the best things that you can do when you get into Claude is you can have it interview you. And by the way, if we don't want to spend the time with this right now, that's fine. I have a number of prompts that I can hand out we'll send to anybody who's interested in after the fact. It's all put together for you so that you can copy and paste. The next one that we're going to be doing for this is going to be only about Claude. Like, how do we use Claude to do it? This is a super high level presentation. Dan's running my.
You have to share your screen.
Sharing, yeah,
Because you're at your computer. You have to share your screen.
We got her. So this is Claude. So the nice part about Claude, and I'm not going to do a ton of examples here. Claude has actually 3 models that you can run. You can see here at the top, there's one called Haiku, one called Sonnet, one called Opus. Opus is for like super deep brainstorming. That is the smartest model. It also takes up the most power and the most money and the most token usage. Sonnet is probably the one you'll use the most often. So we're good? Okay.
You guys are good on the Zoom.
Okay. All right. Sonnet is the one that you'd use for your most tasks. This is for writing. This is for ideation. This is for planning. And then Haiku, which I have set here now. Haiku is for very quick answers or very quick brainstorming that you have. This is the least token. When I say token, that means that it is the least amount of energy to convert your language into code. That is the one, I think, actually, when I just said Sonnet is the one you use most often, that's not true. It'll probably be Haiku. The beauty of this is they have a bunch of connectors to this as well. So I can go down here, I can hook in my Google Drive is in. I don't currently have my Gmail and my calendar, but you can actually put those into Claude. You can hook them in and have Claude look at your entire business and pull all the information in. They can help you with scheduling. It can help you with writing emails. It can actually write the emails and queue them up in your Gmail. It can it can respond to text messages if you have an iOS system or a Mac system. It is really like your personal assistant. You can train it to be a transaction coordinator. There's a million different usages for this. And people will ask me, like, well, what does it do exactly? And the answer to that is I can't tell you what it does exactly because it's going to be different for every single person that uses it. Every use case is different. So I can't pigeonhole that. What I can tell you is it has a lot of functionality. And if you come to the next one, we're going to dig deeper into this one. If you're serious about making your business better and having a personal assistant do it, Claude is the large language model you should be using. Again, if you're using Google Gemini, which is a fantastic model as well, or Grok, also very good, but they are not built for business. This is the business person's language model. But I think if anybody wants to go to anthropic.com or claude.ai right now, you can download or get access to Claude right away using your Google account. The first thing that you should do is have it interview you. So you can start by saying, I have a real estate business and I don't know how to change it. Sorry, that's why you have to listen to me talk while I type.
Yeah.
Better. I want you to interview me so that we can find the peaks and valleys together. Why is it doing that? Go. So what it's going to do is it's going to bring it, I'm telling it what to do. So as you can see, it says, I'm happy to help you work through this. It starts asking me questions. So can you tell me about your real estate business in general terms? What's your primary focus? So I'll just say, I'm a residential realtor. And I am focused on helping new home buyers into houses. I don't do any commercial rentals or anything beyond that.
So what you guys couldn't see was he did that with the whisper flow. So because he
Yeah.
no longer types.
This is also true.
And the whisper flow thing's got this really cool little audio thing that just, the audio waves that come across or whatever.
Yeah, you guys can't.
No.
It's not pick. The screen won't pick that up, but yeah.
So it's asking me some other good questions. So the beauty about this is I can turn on, of course, Super Whisper again. With new home buyers, I'm saying yes, first time home buyers. That's really my niche in the whole thing.
You are married woman. You're obviously a very skilled buyer.
It's just me solo. So I'll just shut it off here. And this has, I didn't have it in there, so I have to copy and paste.
Shannon, can you check the chat?
Yep, the only thing we've had so far are the Jamie wants to know if we're sending out slides after this presentation.
So I'm not going to spend a whole ton of time doing this. You can very clearly see what I'm getting after here and what it's doing. The initial sort of interview will probably take, I would give yourself 45 minutes to do. It's going to ask you some really amazing questions about your business, especially if you tell it to be very specific about it. It wants to know everything about you. Like, what do you like to do? What don't you like to do? Where do you struggle? What are you good at, for that matter? And then it's going to sort of tailor everything after the fact. The important part, of course, is to read everything. Don't gloss it over. Read everything. Talk to this like you're talking to a person, like you're talking to a business coach. Claude will come up with an amazing plan at the end of how to help you. It has a ton of other use cases as well. Again, the next one we're going to do is going to be specifically for Claude. So we're going to move on to the next piece here, but I just wanted everybody to see the starting out. Have it interview you right away. If you want to download this today and start using it, have it interview you. That's an easy way to start.
All right. Let's see, I need a applications window where I need you to share your gamma.
Okay. All good.
That's what we should have done from the beginning.
You got it. I got it right here.
Cool. Cool.
All right.
Excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is it sharing?
Yep, it is.
It is sharing.
1, 2, 3, 4. And there we
There
go.
we go. So Comet. Comet is the next one. This is a new one, by the way. And I thought that I had put on at the bottom of this a link for Comet. Oh, I did.
And I just shared the link for Claude in the chat so I can.
Okay. And if you wouldn't mind typing that, there's an HTTPS button. So Comet is brand new. It's made by a company called Perplexity. Perplexity is what's called an answers engine. The difference between like ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity is like the sole function of Perplexity is to find you answers. Like that's what it does. It doesn't write you long blog posts. It doesn't write analyses. But what it does do is it finds the information that you need. Perplexity made this web browser. So this is just like Chrome, where there's a web browser so you can load it in. If you sign up with your Gmail account, it'll actually populate in everything that's in your Chrome browser and into this directly. What I've seen for an amazing use case for this is that Comet will help you find or help you search through your MLS. So trying to find comps, for instance, you can turn on the assistant in Comet, and I'll show you in a second. But turn on the assistant in Comet, and it will actually do the work for you. So the assistant in this is really the sort of gold nugget in all of it, because the browser itself, a browser is a browser is a browser is a browser. But when you get to something that can run the browser on your behalf with a little bit of instruction, that's where the nugget is. So I'm going to switch over here. We're going to pull up Comet, and I don't have access clearly to the MLS. So I am just going to use, for all intents and purposes, and I know people have grown about this, but I'm just going to use Zillow because it's an easy one for me to do. So here's Zillow. And there we go. So I'm going to say, I'm going to turn on my assistant. So you can see up here in the top. So it has 3 functions on here. One, this is a sort of too long didn't read summary button. So if you go to a website and you're like, holy crap, there's all this information on here. I don't want to read it. It's ridiculous. You can hit this button. The assistant will read everything on the page and it'll write you a short summary of exactly what's going on. That's a super helpful function, especially when you're getting into like a lot of words, something that's extremely long, or a lot of data for that matter. This one right here is a voice assistant. So you can launch the voice assistant. You can actually talk to it. It's really, really, really good. I use it in my business. I have it running in the background all the time. Sometimes I forget it's on and I start talking to somebody else and it'll start talking back to me, which is not great. But the voice mode in and of itself is fantastic because you can have it running and just ask it questions while you're doing the function. The big deal down here is this thing. Now, this is the actual assistant. You can see how I'm on Zillow here, but I'm also, you can see that the assistant is aware that we're on Zillow. So this is what we call context awareness. So it gets where we're at. So what I'm going to tell it here is I want, that is around, geez, I can't type, 2,500 square feet.
So you're not using Whisper.
I'm not using Whisper for this one. It's just easier if I do this. 53718 for the zip code. And I'm going to say 4 bed, 3 bath. We'll just do that. It's an easy one. So I'm going to start it now. You can see the assistant running. When it turns blue here, that means that the assistant is now controlling my browser. So I'm just going to let this run while we're all talking because it'll take a little while. The first thing it does is it's learning Zillow or whatever program you're in. So if you turn this on, if you have your MLS running and it's looking for you, the MLS, it needs to learn all of the context on the page first. So it does take a little bit longer to do, but you can literally turn this on and then go do something else. And it'll just run. Come back in 20 minutes and it'll have a list for you. Now, the important part when you're using something like this is that when you pull up the MLS, there's a ton of on the left-hand side when the search terms, there's a ton of search terms. Give it as much context as possible. So beds, baths, square footage, school district, size of acreage. I mean, I don't know exactly what's in there. What else is in there? Do you know off the top of your head?
I mean, you can do size of acreage. You could do features like garage, number of garage stalls, anything from like lake, land, water frontage, anything like that.
So just to get as granular as possible on what it is that you're looking for when you're using your MLS, and it will find that stuff. And I know there's a couple of people on here that have already used it. I've shown this to before. It's pretty amazing. And when it's done, it will give me a list down here at the bottom where it says add details to task. It'll actually give me a synopsis of exactly what's coming out. So as this is working, do we have any questions in the chat that we can answer while this is running?
Nope. Jamie wanted to know if we're gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you talk to text in Claude? I don't see the button. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the desktop version, well, actually, it's a more nuanced answer. If you have a PC, you cannot text to talk into Claude directly. If you have a Mac, you can. Claude also has a mobile app that you can talk to text into, which is pretty great. So all that functionality is built in. You have to understand that the different operating systems of your computer have some nuance to them as well. Apple and iOS tends to be a little more forward in that way, so they have some built-in integration that way. PC tends to be a little bit slower as that starts. So eventually, I know that'll be a total function into Claude. And yesterday they had an update where they were able to, well, this wasn't yesterday, but a while, you can teach Claude a skill, a repeatable skill that it will learn how to do. And then every time you go into it, you say, I want you to use this skill, it comes back. You don't have to prompt it. You don't have to give it context. You just tell it what to do. So as you can see here, it's now looking for comparative stuff. I've given it pretty broad parameters, so it's gonna take a little while to get this done. The more granular, like I said, the more granular up front that you give it, the better it will be.
Do you want to talk about while you're waiting for about the workshop on the 24th and what they can kind of expect?
Yeah. So on November 24th, we're going to do another one of these. This will be specific. Obviously, this is sort of a broad overview of everything. The one on the 24th will be specifically about Claude, like how to use Claude for functionality. How do you do it to start yourself off in your business? We already talked about the interview a little bit, but how do you build projects? How do you build skills? How do you ideate with it? How do you make a transaction coordinator if you want to try to use it that way? How do you, actually I won't get into MCP servers, but like a lot of the basic additional functionalities that are really important to being able to use it. We're going to start off with that. Now, that being said, if anybody on this call ever wants me to spend an hour with them to help them on their specific Claude, I'm more than happy to do that. Okay, so you see in the assistant, I asked it for comps. It gave me comps here. So Orion Trail, it's almost exactly what I was looking for. 4 beds and 3 baths, almost 2,500 active listing. Now I didn't give it, again, a ton of parameters, so the pricing is a little bit all over the place. But it's able to find that. And I think that's the important part about this assistant functionality is that you can do it to do a lot of your like really laborious work. And it can do it in a very short amount of time. What did that take? 5 minutes for that?
Probably not. I mean, quite.
Right. So if you say I want 20 comparables, and you don't, you give it some specificity, it will absolutely come up with something. All right. Let's move on to the last one here. Let me stop sharing my screen.
And then that next workshop is in person.
It is an in-person workshop, correct? Yeah.
So we'll be able to kind of handhold a little too to really make sure you guys.
Will we be able to? We'll probably stream the recording of it, so if people want to follow along after.
Yes.
But just not have. I'm not so, and we might be live, but it definitely benefit you to be in person.
Yep. The last thing we're going to talk about is a program called Notebook LM. Notebook LM is made by Google. It's actually free, and the free version is really spectacular in and of itself. So I'm going to pull up Notebook here, and we're going to show you. This is the one with the biggest sort of wow factor to it straight away. So the whole point, what in the world? Okay, we got it. So let's look at
your you got to share.
Yep, that's fine. I got her. Maybe I got her. Stop share.
Just point it towards you.
There you go. Reshare. We'll get here. What did I get here? All right, here we go. So this is Notebook LM. So I use Notebook LM for everything. I use it for my continuing ed. I use it to learn about concepts that are very difficult and lengthy. I use it to help teach people. The whole point of this program, by the way, was to help you learn better. So it has that amazing functionality to it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start a new one today. If you have information to upload to this, you can upload obviously from your computer. You can pull from a URL from the website. Now, I will tell you that the URLs from the website, maybe 30% of the URLs work. They're not compatible with Google for some reason. So I wouldn't rely on that one straight away. You can hook up your Google Drive to it. You can copy text from a different thing and put it in here. The whole point of you doing by this is that this program is only using your information as context to come up with the answers that you're looking for. And you can also pull from YouTube, by the way, because YouTube is owned by Google. It is anything that's on YouTube can pull in. That means videos and all, so it doesn't really matter. Now, if you don't have anything, you can go up this button in the top that says Discover Sources, and you can say, obviously we have it on the web. We can say that from a drive. We can do fast research here, but I'm going to say we're going to make up something stupid here and say we're going to talk about cat grooming, which is super dumb. But what it's going to do is it's going to
super important.
But it's super important if you own cats, for sure. But what it's going to do now is it's going to comb the web world about cat grooming. So it's going to give you a bunch of sources here. So I can see abnormal cat grooming. I can see dental care, cats and dogs guidelines, blah, blah, blah. It is important when you get these to pull in that you really look through what they are. Obviously, you can click on these buttons here and it'll tell you what the source is. You can actually go and look at it. Because, of course, if you pull in bad data, you're going to have bad data in, bad data out. So I'm going to hit import, and we're going to pull all these in because I'm just showing you here as an example. I don't really care how good it is, good or bad. So clearly, you can see these red ones. That means that those are bad links. So remember when I said earlier about how URLs and web doesn't pull in really well? That's because it's not a good link. So I'm going to delete these. I didn't notice that they had that, but there is a button here that says remove all failed sources. Could have done that before. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to call this. Important to rename this, by the way, as somebody who's worked on this several times. If you make a whole bunch of these, you get lost in them straight away. Now, I have a whole corpus of data that I've built. Corpus of data means a body of data that I put together. And this has some step-by-step instructions on how cat grooming, health, behavior management, so on and so forth. You can see here at the bottom that we have some follow-up questions that were automatically generated. Now, the backbone large language model in this is Google Gemini 2.5, which is not their most recent model, but the one before that, which is also fantastic. The beauty of this is so let's say I really want the answer to this. So I'm going to have Gemini now comb through all of the data that we have to find an answer to this specific question. Now, this is, again, stupid because we're talking about cat grooming and not talking about anything that you have. But you can say save to note if you really like it. And then you can go and hit convert to source. If you hit convert to source, now it becomes a standard piece of your corpus of data. So a lot of times when you do this, if you have something that's really long and laborious, you're not looking for all of the answers or all the information. You really want to narrow it down. That should always be the goal when you're using language models. How do I narrow down the information? You can now, let's say I have this answer, so now I don't need this anymore. So now I just remove the source because it's not necessary. So now when you go back in to ask it another question, it's not going to tear through a whole bunch of stuff. It has the answer already. So that's really important. This is also just a general language model. So tell me about general feline nutrition. So you can ask it questions, anything that you want. You're certainly not limited to anything on this. Clearly, this is not the most exciting part of this, but this is a really important thing. The other part to this is that if you hit share, I can share a chat only. So let's say you have a client and you want to feed that client information, but you don't want them looking everywhere. You can hit chat only, and I can hit preview. Oh, you're not going to see it here because it opened a new window. Crap. But I'll just explain this here because I don't want to share and unshare. But it's bringing up a limited chat box. And now I can only ask it questions about cats or specific parts about cats. So as it applies to you as a real estate agent, you can say, I have this information. I want my people to know this information. I don't want them going out to ChatGPT and querying and saying, oh, let's find all this other stuff. You don't have to. You have the information for them. You just give them the chat opening. So you can give them and Dan can see it too, and Shannon can see it. You're just giving them the chat window and allowing them to interact with it directly, which is incredible.
But that's based on just the knowledge that you have
Programmed
into.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
exactly.
Very nice.
Yep. So I think the bigger thing for this is they have these two components up here. So audio overview and video overview. Now I'll do an audio overview. I'm not going to do a video one because the video ones take forever to do. But let's say I want to make it's a literal podcast that you can download and you can send to your clients. And I'm going to make, obviously this is about cats. It's going to give me a bunch of different ones. So we're going to do a brief one. It's going to be in English. And I'm going to say specifically, tell me about orange tabbies. And
the video overview is really cool. And you can tell it to start your video overview and you can leave this screen and go and do like other things while it's doing that. So even though he says it takes long, because it does take a little bit longer, just like you'll see while this audio overview is setting up, it takes a little bit of time. But that's, you can start it and then go do what you got to do and come back. So.
I would say that for an audio generation, you're probably looking at anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes per generation. For a video one, you're probably looking at 15 minutes. It just takes, because they're not only rendering the data, but they're also rendering visual stuff. So it's called the diffusion model. It does pictures and other video parts. That's a terrible description, but that it's doing. So we're going to let that go for now. But
I was thinking with the like the continued education that realtors do.
Let's talk about that, because I literally just did that.
Oh, good.
So I put in all of my CE. So this is every year in my other job, we have to do continuing ed every single year. It's 8 hours. And so what I did is I put in all of by the way, this is supplied to us, just like I'm sure in real estate, it's the same thing, but it's open book. We have to go through all these modules and answer all these questions. So when I go in here, I have everything in here now. So when I would get a question and I'd say, tell me about.
Your fingers are going to be fatigued from all this typing today.
I know. So I can go in. SOFR is for, in the mortgage space, it's a benchmark for adjustable rate mortgages. So now I have everything that I need to know about SOFR. Now the beautiful part is, and I'm not saying that you should use this to cheat's a strong word, but you certainly can copy and paste in here and get exact answers to doing this. Now, of course, I never did that.
No.
But
of course.
but this is a way to do it. Now, you could argue too, if it's open book anyway, who cares? Because they're essentially giving you the same thing, right? The point is to do the do. But you can do this and it helps out a lot. Now, let's say you want to actually learn about everything in your continuing ed and you want them to teach it. You can do it. I can say, make me some flashcards about everything that's in here. So now it has these flashbooks. It can make quizzes. It can make reports. You can mind map things. It is an incredible tool for learning. And I think this is an incredible tool to give to your clients, not this directly, but the output that you produce for them, so that they can learn about their specific scenario, what they're looking for, all of the hard parts that you have of trying to describe to them or explain to them, you can actually do with this. I think people oftentimes don't want to hear it from just you. They want to hear it from a second person too, but you're the second person. You're just giving them the information, and then you can create podcasts and you can create videos, and people tend to do that, to like really believe that stuff. Not saying that they shouldn't believe it. I know that sounded like I was implying that they should. They should absolutely believe it because it's really good, solid information. What I do in my other business is I will create podcasts. I will text them the full podcast so they can listen to it in their vehicle. I also have a program that I use to help create or explain scenarios. I upload the video into that to help explain that as well. It works so super, super, super well. So let's go back.
And then are you on a paid version of this?
Yeah, I am on a paid version, but the free version is
does
also
a lot.
It does a lot.
I use the free. I haven't dived into all of the different things, just dabbled, and I get what I need.
Yeah.
Like, for now. Yeah.
So I'm gonna play. If I turn this on, is it gonna?
I think you have to hit like share. So Dan, he's gonna.
What do you want to share now?
He
What would
wants to
share
share the
the
audio
audio?
of the podcast he just made. So
Should be on.
So I have to unmute mine now.
Maybe.
Brief on essential cat grooming and hairball prevention. Okay, so we're diving into what the pros and the science say are the.
Sorry, we'll fix. Now, if you use, mute me, there we go. If you use I made this a brief audio overview. If you do a regular or a long audio overview, it also has the ability where you can actually click in and ask the podcast questions as it's talking, which is an amazing feature to have, to be able to hear what they're saying and you to interact with the information straight away. It's pretty nuts. I use it all the time. Like I said, if I have something that's very complex and I don't fully understand, when I hear something that maybe I want to ask a follow-up question on, I can actually press the button and talk to it straight away. That works, by the way, on your desktop and on the mobile app too. Both functions work really great that way.
actually kind of creepy.
It's a little creepy.
Like it's super cool, but like I've done one and then they're talking about, it's a man and a woman and they're talking back and forth and I hit the like ask question, interrupt button or whatever. And they'll go, we have someone like chiming in and it's me.
Like you're calling into
AI.
a
Yeah, like
show.
you're calling it and you're like, okay, I don't know. You feel like you're definitely talking to real people and then they'll answer your question right there. And you guys definitely have to play around with it. Like do one just to, and it could be about your business or something silly and fun to do. Yeah.
I think the craziest part is not only are they giving you great information, does it sound like it doesn't just sound like a human when it speaks. It sounds like a human when it breathes and it pauses in the right spots and it laughs in the right spots. And every once in a while you get a glitch where it'll laugh sort of inappropriately, like out of sync. But for the most part, they're fantastic as they come through. So Notebook LM free. You can go to Notebook LM. Yep, you put it there. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. And
So again, it would be great like for you guys to go to all of the links that we shared today and set up your accounts. But if this is a lot and you're like, I'm just going to do this one today, I was really impressed with this and I wanted to focus on that, then, take the time to do that and then sign up for that workshop and we'll dive in and kind of
absolutely
guide you more with Claude though.
More with Claude. The next one will be exclusively about Claude. So the real sort of nugget in all this is when you figure out how to integrate them all together. So using Claude in your business, how you stack your business, how you build that sort of foundation, using WhisperFlow to save time by not having you write, by having you sort of just talk and dictate into Claude or in a notebook or a different program, using Notebook to help with your output with clients, and then using Comet to do, if not all, almost all of your, or not all of your research, almost all of your research. And I know I mentioned it before, like this is a little bit of a trial and error piece too, because you guys have to use it just to figure it out. Like I can tell you what I do. I can tell you about other people that I know in the real estate business that use this and what they do, but everybody's different. Everybody runs their businesses different. Everybody thinks different. So it's important that you all use this individually and get to know the programs themselves. Like I said before, 24th, doing a thing on Claude. If you want me to help you set up your Claude, give me a call or hit Shannon or somebody else and we'll set up some time to help you do that. So we already talked about building a strategic foundation, setting up your Claude. It says Claude project on here. That's something that we haven't talked about yet, but setting up your Claude right away is important. Learning how to do it, talk to it like you're talking to a person. Tell it that if it gives you something you don't like, tell it you don't like it and tell it to do better. getting that sort of feel for that first one, then using Notebook LM to sort of feel like, how do I translate from what I'm doing to my clients and how do I communicate with them better? Putting WhisperFlow or Super Whisper on your computer, once you really get a good flow for it, to help you get through everything faster. And then with your efficiency research with Comment, I would say Comment may be the last thing that you use, although again, it's up to you guys on how you want to put it together. If it were me, this is how I would put it together. But everybody's different and everybody learns differently, so I'll leave that up to you. But what's the ROI? The ROI to me, I know there's some monthly value in numeric or in money format here, but really it's the hours. So how much time do you spend? Doing the busy work where you don't need to be doing the busy work? You should be able to do the work that's important, which is talking to clients, finding new deals, communicating with everybody in the process for things that you already have. That's where you make your money. And as the AI systems sort of expand and there become more of them and they become more impactful, creativity and authenticity are going to be the two most important things. Now, when I say that, I don't mean like you have to be able to make good art. As far as the creativity goes, it's creating solutions for yourself, for your clients, for micro solutions that you need in your own business. Now, the thing that we didn't talk about it with this stuff is that a lot of these AI tools can also write programs for you without having any or very little knowledge of how to make programs yourself. So that's really important. That's a little more of an advanced subject, but we'll get to it at some point, just not today. So next steps. Choose one tool this week. My suggestion would be Claude. Start implementing it, using it on a regular basis. Ask it to write emails for you. Ask it to send out text messages. Ask it to clean up your Google or your Gmail drive. Ask it how you can make do the interview. How do you make your business better? Yeah. So, and then obviously remember the estimates say that you save more time and project. You're going to save a lot more time than you think. I know it says, actually, I don't remember what it said in the last one, 10 to 15 hours a week. I would say just on my own by using WhisperFlow, the just centralized tool, it probably saves me 20 hours a week of writing, responding to emails. It's a huge save that way. All right. I think we got some time for some questions if there's more questions.
Yes, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, please. I know Eirik and I talked about, there's so much with AI. Like it's a rabbit hole. So we wanted to slow it down a little, focus on some key ones that can really help, again, with the foundations. So like I said, don't feel like you have to go in and set up an account for all of these today. Just kind of start getting familiar with whatever you found the most interesting. Even I downloaded the WhisperFlow the other, and I keep forgetting I have it. So getting used to knowing that it's there and that I don't. And then but halfway through the day I will. Dance.
I'm just trying.
We're going on a. I feel like we're on like a roller coaster. So yeah, we're in an earthquake.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Yep. And I just wanted to say too, Shannon, I'll put it back to yours too. The summary of the different tools that we use, that's what we're going to be going into in the workshop. But today if you did join this meeting, just search for us out there, Preferred Success Marketing on the Facebook page, which has been, streaming down at the bottom of this. If you're out on social, if you're already joined in the Zoom, and obviously you've already connected, you will get invites for sessions 2 and 3, which will be in person here in Monona, Wisconsin. But if you have other questions, please let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of those, you can comment after this live is over. Ask questions. The very first part of the video, obviously, was us getting the streaming and the pages and everything all fixed up. But please, feel free to ask at any time, and we'll reach out and we'll answer your questions and we'll help you. That's what we're trying to do. And
I think one last thing, it's important. And if you've been watching this and you feel a little overwhelmed by the whole thing, because I get it. And you think, well, I'm not going to use this stuff, or I don't want to dive into it just because it feels overwhelming. But, I mean, if you're overwhelmed, you're overwhelmed. That's totally a thing. But what I can tell you is that everything is moving this way. So to say, well, I'm not going to use it, or I don't want to learn how to do it just because I don't want to deal with it now, you're only handicapping yourself in the future, because all these systems are all moving this way, and they all have building in backbones, and it's all going to flip really quick. But I think the whole point to this should be work on you being authentic, you being creative, you being able to solve problems. Let the machines and the algorithms do the really laborious work for you. It takes a little bit on the setup to get started, but once you're going, it's really, really, really awesome.
Yep. I just want to say too, before we jump off, one of the bigger issues that I think we're seeing in real estate, but with industries in general, with implementing AI, it's the habit of actually just doing it. It's not a problem with learning it. The systems themselves, like Whisper, is a tiny little button at the bottom of the screen, and it's as simple as clicking start, speaking, and hitting end. And you're talking about taking a process of typing something out and simply making it quicker, right? And more efficient. And it's important to understand that it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. You're going to be, we're always in competition, and you're going to be in competition with people that are using these tools. Now, it shouldn't scare you like, oh my God, I'll never get on this. But think back to when text messaging became a thing. Think back, if you're really been around for a long time, when fax machines became a thing. Like whatever it is.
The internet.
The internet. You can't necessarily avoid this, but you also don't need to be able to use it ever. Like, I will never be able to use AI system tools and components the same way that Eirik can. He's got a head start. He's dedicating more time to it. If you dedicated a ton of time to text message marketing, or becoming an expert on how to communicate via text message, it's really no different. So if you think about each one of those, towers or wheelhouses, or silos, whatever the heck you want to call them, AI has to be one that you at least turn on, and it's there. It doesn't mean you need to get into it at the level they are, or that we are, or anything else, but it can't be a zero. You can't ignore it. And if that scares you, I'm sorry. Like Eirik said, it can be very overwhelming, but find somebody that will help, because I'll tell you, the easiest thing too is to ask for help from AI itself. And so even at the most basic level, if you come to one of our trainings, or if you come and get help from somebody like Eirik, you're going to be able to know how to get more help. And that's probably the most valuable.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
We
And
will set out slides, and then
we had Julie
The
Alabrando. Yes, I used fax machines. Heck yeah, so did I.
I'm not seeing that.
Well, that's because you guys are on the Zoom. It's just
Oh,
out there
you're
on
on
the,
there.
yep, it's out there on Facebook land. So, but yeah, so if you watch this recording again, the first couple minutes kind of stunk. We'll get that cleaned up, or I'll cut that off. But aside from that, the 4 tools that were here, go download them, reach out to us for the next session. If you can't make the next session or whatever, let us know. We'll record it. We'll send it to you. I'm sure it'll provide some value.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.